This is the exact step-by-step process of how I fully automated my $500 million per month email marketing strategy without bringing on an additional hire. So this is going to show you exactly step-by-step how to set up Claude to manage your ideation process, your campaign process, your copywriting, your flow build-outs, your analysts. Everything to do with email marketing has been completely automated, and you can create skills around them so it just works on autopilot behind the scenes instead of you needing to hire tons of people in-house, which is usually the issue with email marketing. So what I recommend is watch until the end, because trust me, especially the flow builders is going to save you a ton of time and a lot of money. So let's get into it. All right, to start off with, I want you to understand how this team is going to actually operate. Technically, you're going to have 6 employees, but without needing to pay 6 employees, you're going to be able to just prompt Claude, which acts as 6 different agents. It sounds complicated, but trust me, it's so easy to set up. All we're going to do is we're going to go one by one. I'm going to show you step by step how to set these up individually, save them as skills, and then you essentially have a working full department that operates on autopilot. Now, in our benefit as an agency, we have hundreds of brands to pull from. We have all the data of the best performing ones, the best performing campaigns, the best performing split tests. And so we use all that data to feed into our AI. So we're always operating way ahead than a brand that will just bring this in-house, right? And so if you do want an agency to come in and just basically build out a complete system that works on autopilot and manages everything for you, go down below, book in a call with us. But if you're not at that position, you just want to kind of skimp on costs, you want to build this out yourself, this is the perfect video for you. So first things first is email ideation. Now we are going to build an ideation machine, copywriting machine, segmentation and calendar machine. So again, the entire process of thinking and doing is completely done. Then it's the execution of being able to audit and build a report on a backend, flow structures, building that out automatically, and then design briefs as well. So this is so important for you. Now, all you're going to need is you're going to need Claude Cowork, which is basically the desktop app, which I will switch to throughout this video, and then Mild. Mild is basically a platform that looks like this, and it's of all the brands that put out the best emails. I personally have the ones that I am following showing up, but what I use this for is it's a great ideation machine. So that's what we're going to start with. We want to start with the ideation machine on Claude, right? So open up Claude, and what you're going to do is you're going to go to Cowork. First things first is we need to create a brand profile for you individually. And the way that we're going to do that is we are going to create a very simple brief, and we're going to say, build me a brand profile for my brand, Groons.co. We're just going to use Groons as the example. And what we're going to do is I've already gone ahead and done this. I'm going to copy paste all of this information. It's basically all the information about them, their best performing products, the entire guideline of who they are and what they do. And we're just going to go ahead and put that in there, right? And so what's going to happen is going to build a brand profile for us. And I've already gone ahead and done this. And it eventually comes out like this, where we have this working document that we can use as a continual brief. So we don't always have to give it context or give it an idea of what we're doing. So now we've got a brand profile. Now that we have a brand profile, it's going to be relevant to what we're actually building. And so what we want to do is we want to create different skills. Now, what we want to do now is we want to start with the ideation skill. We want this system to essentially come up with marketing ideas for us that then we can distribute across email marketing, maybe even other channels if you like it enough. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to go to Mild. All right. And we're going to take a screenshot of all of these. So I use Go Full Page, this Chrome extension, and it's basically going to take a screenshot of everything, and it is going to be this ideation machine. Now you can also give it a breakdown like I'm about to do for all of the best campaigns. So I've got this full doc that we use internally, which is basically like flash sales, Prime Day, April Fool's Day, campaign ideas, the way that we go about campaign ideas for different industries. I'm going to give it all this context. So I'm going to go back and I'm just going to copy paste this. I'm going to input my screenshot as well. And I'm going to use all of that. And basically the brief is, hey, build me an ideation skill. I want you to come up with high converting email ideas for educational, promotional, plain text emails for my brand. And we're going to say Groons.co. We can also generate ideas, generate them in the chat, blah, blah, blah. All right. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So I am going to go ahead and attach those screenshots that I got. So let's go down and we're going to go ahead. There's the screenshots. I took a few before this, and that is pretty much it. Then we're going to input that. Now, again, I've gone ahead and done this, but it essentially comes out with this. And now it's got the skill. And to save a skill, you literally just go click on save. And now you've got this full blueprint of exactly ideation ideas. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm actually going to give it a kind of an update. And I want to say, when asking for ideas, rate them as a list of 20 to 30 ideas in let's say numbered format. I will then respond with the ones I approve of. All right. And so when we go back to what this machine actually looks like, we've already within 10 seconds gotten our brand profile built out for continual reference. Then we got our email machine, our ideation machine. Now what we need is, once it comes up with the ideas and everything, we need to complete it, right? We need to build it out, the copywriting for it, and we also need to make sure that it actually fits into a calendar that is a final build out. So we can consider the fact that number one is complete, right? So we're going to put a strike through. We've completed number one. Now we need number two, which is the copywriting. Now I've built out a brief for my copywriting machine, which is using all these examples of how we write copy for our clients, the rules that we use, the different ideation, etc., etc. So all I'm going to do is copy paste this, use these images, and give it into my brief. What I recommend you do is you go find a YouTube video, you take the transcript of that, or you find an article. So for example, here's a great article that you can use, and you can just go copy paste all of that information. So we're going to come in here, we're going to say, all right, now create a copywriting skill. And again, I've already done that. So now what we have is this skill that, again, we can just go ahead and save the skill. And now what we can do is we can upload and replace. So we'll go ahead and do that because I've already got the skill. But what we can do now is we have all these rules of how to actually generate email copywriting. So we consider that done. Now we've got a full system, right? So we got the copywriting, we got the ideation, that's all good. So we're going to strike this through. Now what we want is we want a planner. This is so important. Obviously, if you've ever worked with an agency, one of the main things you want to see is a full calendar so you can understand when things are going out and make sure that we're hitting sales dates. So for example, it is currently June. And so a few dates are coming up. There's going to be Father's Day approaching. There's going to be Prime Day, Amazon Prime Day. All of those are so important contextually. And so what I want to do is I wanted to spit everything out into a full calendar brief. And what I've gone ahead and done is, obviously internal, we use a full structure for all of this. So I'm going to take this, and again, I'm going to copy paste it, and I'm going to build a new skill. So let's go and create a new task, right? And I want to say, build me a calendar creation skill for email marketing. Take a look at the formula we use. Okay. And I'm going to attach a screenshot. So let's go ahead, and there is the screenshot. So again, we use this, and this is essentially how it looks when it is complete. And that's what we use for our clients. So you will feed approved ideas from the ideation skill and build this out. Perfect. So now we are building out a new one. I'm going to rename it so I can keep track. YouTube. And this is calendar skill. Cool. All right, cool. And so we got this ideation machine. And now let's see, now that we got these skills built out, I want to see it all come to work, right? So for my brand, okay, I have a profile built out. Rate me, let's just say 20 ideas in the chat for June. All right, so we're going to let that go ahead and work. And in the meantime, now it's building a calendar skill, it's building the copywriting skill, it's got the profile. So now we want to move on to the flow skill, because this is the other thing. Obviously, emails do not stop at the campaign side, they stop at the flow side. And so I've got this full brief. Again, this is something we give access to all of our clients, but this is a full brief on all of the flows and the structure for the flows. And going a step further, this is something else that we have that we always refer back to, which is our structure for flows visually. And this is going to be a game changer for you for the future of email marketing. So pay attention to the skill specifically, because flows is one of the biggest pain points for brands because they don't know how to create them correctly and they don't have enough context. So what I go ahead and do is you can also dictate And that's something I'll often do. I'll go to Claude and I will dictate. So let's go ahead and create a new one. Flows. So over here, what I would do is I would just dictate and I would say, hey, this is the context for a welcome flow. So let's go ahead and trial it. So, hey, I want you to go ahead and create a flow skill for me. This is specifically for email marketing. I want you to take the briefs per flow and the understanding per flow and then build a skill around it. So for a welcome flow, the intention is to nurture a new subscriber into trusting us and wanting to buy from us. The first email should be short, to the point, visual email, giving them their discount code, building trust by showing some kind of reviews and showing the category section so they know exactly what we offer. The second email should be a plain text email from the founder, reminding them of their code and welcoming them personally. The third email should be a transparent email, going a little bit into detail about who the team is, behind the scenes, why we are the way that we are, a little bit more of a brand story. Email number 4 should be a product showcase. These should be the best sellers. These should be the best performing products that are in our catalog, and also walk them through who these products are actually for. So think of it like an email archetype. So these are people that are working moms. This product is for the weekend. This product is for a night in. Whatever it is, that is the idea for the full welcome flow. Cool. So instead of me having to type everything out, I can just go ahead and do that. Now, obviously, I've already got a full brief of everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And this is basically the brief, right? So create a flow brief. I've already got one built out, obviously, but you can go even a step further. Now it's got context of all of these, right? And additionally, we build these all out with updated strategies in the in Miro. And so here's a great hack for you, right? Let's go find a basic flow. So let's go to kind of what you probably have set up is this basic flow instead of an advanced one. And let's go ahead, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is I am just going to save this. So let's go ahead, we're saving this as an image, and I'm going to save it as a large image. All right. And now what we can go ahead and do is we can actually feed this Miro image to this chat. All right. So we can go ahead and let's go try find it. B2C. All right. So here's the screenshot. I can go ahead and say, using the flow skill that I created, I want you to recreate a cardamom mint email for Groons.co using the brand profile in Miro, exactly like the screenshot, showcasing strategy per email. All right, so it's actually going to go ahead and build this out in Miro for me. It's going to build out the logic, the trigger, everything that I need using the context that I've already given it for my flow skill. So let's go ahead and brief that and we'll wait for it. Now let's go take a look at the ideas that are built out. And now we just have a list of ideas and I can choose the best ones. So for example, powder is the only real green. So I like this. This is a kind of like a myth busting email. These perform incredibly well. And it knows this because I've given it the context of what we know works well for all of our clients. Then product education, 60 ingredients versus your multivitamins 20. Again, so many people think that it's kind of solving these common misbeliefs about products. Us versus them always works really well. The Traveler's Gut Health Guide, incredible idea. So all of these, what we're going to go ahead and do is we are now going to say, all right, I like the first 10, build them out in a calendar using my calendar skill. All right, so it's going to go ahead and do that in the meantime. Now, obviously, you can see that this needs additional context, but we've already done it, so we're going to wait for that. So if we go back, we've now got a fully built out calendar skill that is now going to put out into a calendar for you to see. And it's going to tell us what segments to actually send those emails to. Then what we've done is we've got a flow structure. So we've got 4 entire employees completely covered. It's taken me 13 minutes to set them up in this video. And so you've already got a full email team, but we want to go a step further and we want to make sure that we are actually giving the best briefs. So now we want to make sure that we have an ideation tool. And I'm going to use voice chat so you can see how easy it is to actually set this up. So let's go ahead and just answer these. Let's do that. And let's go ahead and take the brand profile. So let's go ahead. We're going to complete this. All right, so I need to upload the brand profile. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is come back here and paste it in. All right, perfect. So while that is working, so I can show you the finished result, we're going to go create a new skill. So let's go ahead, create a new skill. And this one is going to be a audit of the backend. Hey, I want you to connect to my Klaviyo account, and I want you to go ahead and analyze all of the latest data over the last 60 days of my account. I want you to identify a list of non-buyers, anyone that is a repeat buyer, any low-hanging fruit within the account where we can get easy revenue, whether that is in the sign-up form, the flow revenue, and I want you to analyze any drops over the last few months that I should be aware of, any deliverability issues, and I also really want you to come up with an idea of what we're not doing enough of. Are we converting enough first-time buyers? Are we converting enough of our repeat buyers? Are they still purchasing from us? I want you to identify weak points that we are not capitalizing on in our sending, and I want you to go ahead and build out a full audit with a to-do list of where the weaknesses are, what the easiest action steps are, and what we need to change, whether there's any errors in the way we set up the flows, any errors in the way we set up the campaigns, or just really low-hanging fruit in who we can target. Perfect. So now you can see how easy it is to give a context, and now it's going to go ahead in the backend, create a audit skill, and now you have got a full identity of exactly how to build everything out. So the audit is completely done. It's going to build that out into a report. You can also say, hey, show this visually as a chart, and it'll spit out an HTML visual of the report that you've done. So now you've really got a full team, and the last piece of it is taking the copywriting and spitting that out into a design brief. So we have a visual brief. This is how we brief our designers. We essentially give them an outline of the subject lines. We like to give 3 variations that we test: preview text, hero visual, blah, 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 and then the sections within the email. And so we can give that context to Claude as well, and then it will spit everything out as well. So now we've got a pretty much complete entire set of everything. And now go take a look at this. So this is the calendar that's spat out without any need for adjustment. You can see how easy and simple this is. So let me open this up separately. But you can see that this is spitting out a complete visual that looks like this, that needs almost no changing. And it tells you whether it is plain text, it tells you if it needs an image, it tells you who we're supposed to be sending to, and it gives an exact idea. So the send times, exactly when to send, because it takes the data from the best performing days, the best performing times that we've seen historically across all of our wellness accounts specifically. So it's going ahead, it's telling you exactly what products. So this is so easy. And then of course you can adjust it to what you want, but this is the exact outline that we use internally and externally for our clients for them to review. So overall, in the last basically 18 minutes, you have learned how to build an entire marketing team. And now forevermore, what you can do is you can build an entire system. You can say, for your brand, you can say, come up with 10 ideas for August. Great. These are the ideas that I want, put it in a calendar. Upload that calendar, say, generate the copy for all of these emails. Then go ahead and do a month-end report and come up with ideas that we need to action this month. Great. I know that I need to build a cart abandonment flow. Go ahead and build it out for me. So it's so simple. And then all you're going to do is you're going to give that brief over to a designer or try and automate the design. Now, automating design is not entirely there. I have another video about this on how you can kind of do it. It takes a lot of credit and it is not as fine-tuned as it is or should be, but it will get there. So go watch that other video about how to use Claude for email designs and producing a final design. But this should give you a really good idea of how you can build everything out as simply and as easily as possible. And this is still building out the Miro board. I want to show you what the finished product of this looks like, because it is insane that Claude can actually go and automate this process. Take a look at this. It's a few minutes later and it's just completed this. So what we do is we just open up the board. It shows us exactly what it has built out. And this is a completely new board that I have not touched. So let's go take a look at what it has built out. And again, all we did was we just uploaded a bunch of ideas. It told us the thinking behind every single one as well. So let's go take a look. So yeah, this is exactly the setup that you saw me use for our build out, and it is literally built out an entire Miro board following exactly what I said, and it uses the exact strategy from our best practices pro brand. So the only difference is that this subject line should be something different, so your order is ready to ship. And if things are not complete the way that you want them to be, obviously just rebrief and update the skill, and then it's got an pretty much eternal memory on everything that you fed it. So this is incredible. This is like the ideal build out. And now you've got an entire system. You can build strategy on Miro automatically. You can get visuals of everything, including your reports. So now you really do have a fully automated team that does everything for you just through Claude. Now, again, if you want an agency to just speed track all of this for you using the endless data that we have from working with hundreds of accounts over the last 9 years, go down below, book in a call. We would love to have a conversation with you if you're making at least $50,000 per month. Otherwise, watch the other video where I show you exactly how to build an entire email from a single prompt. Go ahead, watch that video. I'll see you in the next one.